people that we love or people that we work with or even our neighbours or other people that we interact with. And sometimes it's a difficult thing to make a healthy compromise and to feel that we may sometimes throw ourselves under the bus or maybe want to throw other people under the bus. So I wanted to clear some energy around that so we can make healthy compromises with each other. So, and if we say I'm okay without compromise, we're not really okay with that. So we do need to make compromise. So some generational work under the compromise. Dad's side, dad's mum, and the women on that side. So 5 generations back from dad. And some stuck emotion coming through our genes. Wanting to avoid feeling. So sometimes things get a little difficult or hairy, and sometimes it seems all too much, and we don't know how to deal with the feelings, or we don't know how to deal with what's going on. All right, so now we're going to go into our heart chakra, which is about loving and forgiving. Compassion. All right, allow myself to feel fulfillment. Again, some generational baggage attached to this. Good morning, Cassie. Good morning, Elizabeth. So dad's mum's side again, and the women. So 33 generations of women. I'm confident in the healing power of God's love that it will heal my mind, heart, and body. Well, I guess that's the best healing ever, isn't it? To feel God's love. All right, now we're going into our throat chakra. All right, our intention. And I guess for some people, their intention is good. Most people want to do good. Some people, their intention isn't so good. And so I guess it's learning to discern whose intention isn't the best. Also, the developmental years for the throat chakra are 28 to 35. And I guess that's when we learn to express ourselves a lot more. Yeah, age 28 for somebody. And sinus congestion comes up here as well. Neroli oil. So let's have a look. All right, so neroli oil is about shared purpose and partnership. Oh, Elizabeth says, I've got heaps of sinus congestion. All right, thank you for your comment. All right, Neroli teaches that unity blossoms from adaptation, cooperation, tolerance, perseverance, and kindness. It encourages active acceptance and supportive space for the chosen partner. Neroli invites individuals to attune their focus to the beautiful tapestry that is created as two lives intertwine to share purpose and find meaning. And sometimes our, our marriage or partnership is amazing. We learn a lot from each other, and at times it can be very challenging, and we can find it hard to know how to deal, with the difficulties that happen, and the compromise again that we have to make to exist together. And sometimes we have to give in a little, and sometimes they have to give in a little, but it has to be kind of balanced. All right, I'm comfortable expressing my authentic self. Age 6, 12, 53. Okay, so sometimes we're scared to say what we really feel. We say what we think other people would like us to hear, or we're cautious about how we put things because we don't want to offend someone. It's okay for me to tell my story. I'm confident in the healing power of love to open my throat for greater self-expression. I acknowledge my unique set of superpowers, and each of you do have a unique set of superpowers. Sometimes we don't value our superpowers because they may not be what other people value or are used to acknowledging. But your ability to love other people or to accept other people or to see the truth in other people is a gift. And sometimes being a little vulnerable with other people can be scary, but may also be valuable if we feel that we can trust them and that they may want to understand us a little better. Now we're going to go into the brow chakra. And imagination comes up. So I guess when we're kind of stuck in how we've interacted with someone before and we expect them to behave a certain way because they have in the past, it's like we have to imagine that it could be different. And we have to imagine or role play in our minds how that would go. Because if we go into a situation with the same energy or thinking or attitude that we would normally have, we're going to get the same response. So we have to go in with a different attitude and being able to imagine how it could be different. And the oil sandalwood. So sandalwood's about sacred devotion. So wanting to spend time perhaps having a little meditation or prayer where we can kind of ask the questions that are bothering us and wait to hear what the response is. So it's like getting divine inspiration. So sandalwood assists in quieting the mind so that individuals may hear the subtle voice of the spirit. It raises them into higher levels of consciousness. Sandalwood assists one in reaching beyond their current confines and belief systems. So that kind of makes sense with what we were talking about, isn't it? Because our belief system is the interaction we've had with a person in the past is going to be the same. So if we change the signal that we send and we have a different energy about it, it's like the other person has to respond differently because we're not sending the same signal that we've always sent. Good morning, Margaret. All right, so you could either diffuse the sandalwood or you could put it on yourself to help you to get into that meditative state. And it doesn't have to be a long meditation, even like a minute or two would be enough to start. And even if you say a prayer and you just wait a bit after you say a prayer, that's opening up the lines of communication that you might accept something from above. All right, my brain functions optimally. Some days it does, and some days it can be a little cloudy if we're running around a bit crazy or we don't get time to just be peaceful and still. I choose to be happy and balanced. Sometimes we can feel like that's impossible. It's like the circumstances that are happening around us make it feel really hard to be happy and balanced. So it's like being able to allow ourselves the opportunity to think a little bit differently, think outside the square, talk about what actually brings us happiness. And sometimes we've neglected ourselves so bad we don't even know. So it's like learning or giving yourself little experiences of what makes you happy. So, is it a picnic in the park or is it, walking on the beach or is it going up in the mountains even though it might be a bit chilly for us in Sydney right now, communing with nature, with the fresh air. All right, now we're going up into the crown chakra. And what up is that feeling our purpose in life. Sometimes we get lost along the way, we just doing a lot of doing and not much being. So thinking about what is important to you, thinking about what your heart's telling you that you want to do or you want to feel. All right, I am a success, even when things around me get tough. And that really is what determines success, isn't it? Our ability to keep trying even when it feels like rubbish. I work by trusting my intuition. And often we feel things and we feel impressions or ideas about things, and we want to act on it, but sometimes we have a little bit of doubt and we then go back to our head rather than our heart and what comes in divinely that comes down through to our heart. And we want to intellectualize it, we do need to use our brain, but we also need to use our intuition because often we'll be led in a better path than if we just use normal logical thinking. Sometimes we need something outside the square, which is divinely inspired. My work in life brings me joy. And I guess there's that saying, isn't it? If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. So it's like learning to do things that bring you joy and maybe looking for a way that you earn money doing the things that bring you joy. Now, sometimes it can be a bit of a stretch, or for some people, they're happy to do their job and do things on the side that bring them joy. And I ask if there's anything preventing us from having joy. Something from age 8. So where were you? What were you doing when you were 8? Stuck emotions from age 8. Feelings of regret over the past. So you wouldn't have had a big past at age 8. Sometimes we make mistakes or bad things happen in our family and we can feel regret and we wish things would go back to how they were before. Okay, so excuse me. All right, I love life. What do you love about life? What are the things in life that you love? I think sometimes being out in nature we love. Sometimes it's a piece of music you might hear that really inspires you. Sometimes it might be something that you read or watch or, a sunrise or a sunset. All right, following inspiration is comfortable and natural for me. As I put effort in, I am rewarded fairly. All right, so now we're going to go into the meridian system. So the large intestine meridian, so you could get shoulder or arm pain with the large intestine meridian. And what comes up is sometimes we're a bit dogmatic. We're stuck on a certain way of thinking. It can't be this way or that way. It has to be this way. And so we get stuck. And the feeling that comes up here as well is taken for granted. So sometimes we can feel that people in our family or work or whatever situation are taking us for granted. We don't feel appreciated or loved. All right, so if we love, appreciate, and accept myself, accept doesn't hold. So generational non-acceptance, dad's mum, the men on that side of the family. So 4 generations of men. Okay, something else in the meridian system. So stomach meridian. So stomach meridian also connects or relates to your neck flexors and neck extensors. So you can get a sore neck or your head can feel too heavy for your neck. All right, and the feeling of hopelessness can get stuck in there. So we can feel like, oh, there's no point in trying to change, things will never change, and we can get very stuck in our thinking and our belief that, this is how it is and this is how it will always be. Age 16 connected to this. Feeling of helplessness. So not knowing how we can change things, not seeing how it's possible to change things. And nervousness coming up. Do you feel nervous? And what do you feel nervous about? Good morning, Tabitha. So if I'm asking again, is there something preventing us from making healthy compromises? There's some generational baggage again. Dad's side, dad's dad, and the women on dad's side of the family. 6 generations back. Feeling resentment. And again, I guess it comes down to believing that it is possible to have a compromise, and being willing to have a compromise and thinking that it's possible. It also means that the other person has to be a willing participant in compromise, and some people are not. But I guess we can give them the opportunity, and it's up to them whether they take us up on it or not. Sorry. Age 6 comes up, which had come up earlier. Stubbornness. Were you stubborn? Are you stubborn? I know I can be very stubborn. Some more generational baggage that's preventing us from being able to make healthy compromise. So mum's side of the family, mum's mum, and the women. 17 generations of women. So we might use an oil to help that. So Melissa oil comes up. Melissa is the oil of light. So we want to put light on any situation, isn't it? To see the truth and to see where we're kind of stuck. All right. Melissa's enthusiasm is contagious. Through the intense light and vibration this oil has to offer, individuals may feel they cannot help but let go of feelings of darkness, despair, and other low vibrations that are holding them down. It teaches the joy of living. So you might need to use your Melissa oil to help lift and bring light to any situation. And maybe when you're doing a little bit of meditation and prayer, that you can think about the situations that feel a bit dark and heavy to you. Use your oils to help bring light and to open your mind to the possibility of how things could change, and, to help us be part of the change. So our core beliefs are the things that are really important to us. So I've used the example of Thomas Edison. Eventually he made a light. He made lots of faulty ones before he actually made one that could work. And lots of people would have thought he was crazy because it hadn't been done before, but he persisted, and of course, we're grateful. So when we follow our purpose, we feel energized, invigorated, and hopeful. When we ignore our heart, we feel sad, depressed, exhausted, and defeated. We cannot see the light ahead. So I guess it's committing to what your heart says is important to you. What do you feel is important to you? And if you're a bit unsure of that, sometimes the parts of our body that are complaining are the thing, or I guess the explanation of why we're a bit stuck. And it's like our body's saying, yes, there's something here that you need to help me with before we can move forward. So where is that something? Or what is that something? All right, I'm able to trust my heart despite negativity around me and within me. And sometimes that can be our ego, because our ego doesn't want us to follow our heart because then it's out of a job. So it's going to kick up the dirt. So the ego will be the negativity within us. All right, it's support and encouragement is easily available and string free. So sometimes we feel that if we receive support and encouragement, we're going to be tied to the person, and we may not want to be. All right, so the world of relationships, that can be a very tricky world, can't it? And often people show us parts of ourselves that we may not like. All right, I see the pattern and release the need to use it. So often we will fall into habits, isn't it? When we feel unhappy about a situation, we might attack the person that's telling us whatever it is, and want to go into this pattern of protecting ourselves from change because we're a bit scared of change. I refuse to accept bullying as a way to handle my problems. So that's giving bullying, but also receiving bullying, isn't it? We won't let ourselves be bullied. My understanding grows each day. And sometimes we can see when someone bullies that they're actually fearful and they've been bullied themselves and they have not learned good ways to deal with their emotions or with situations. And so bullying is the habit that they've lent on. All right, I accept full responsibility for my life. Understanding, love, and tolerance grow daily. Mutual respect is paramount. And I know I can have that tendency to be critical before I even think about it. It's like I automatically want to judge or attack. So it's like having to recognize when we feel like that and understand why. And, is this a childhood pattern that we're engaging in, or is this a generational pattern that we're here to help break the chains of? All right. My ability to press forward helps empower my family. And I believe that's true. As we have the courage to face the things that we may not make the best choices in, and, sometimes our unhealthy compromises, and learning to make healthier compromises teaches the people around us how that could look or how it could feel. We allow time and space for grieving and healing. And sometimes there is a grieving. There can be grieving in situations where we didn't get what we wanted. This can be for women sometimes in labour when they end up having to have a cesarean, or, things are not as they had hoped they would be. There is a sense of grieving or loss. And the same thing can happen, in our marriages or in our jobs, where we had expectation and hope for how things could be. And then when we didn't get what we wanted, we can feel very hurt, and we can feel a deep sense of loss. And if that's brings something up for you, where do you feel it in your body? Or is there a situation that we need to talk about? All right, age 9. All right, the throat. Okay, thank you, Cassie. All right, so I'm going to use Ina Siegel's book here, The Secret Language of Your Body. All right, thinking that you lack choice. And sometimes situations happen where we feel like the door's closed and we don't have the opportunity, but, sometimes we have to trust that a window will open. All right, so this is... she's talking about the color blue. So blue is to do with the throat chakra. She said, allow it to surround your throat like a soft blue cloud. Allow the softness of the cloud to float into your throat, filling it with confidence and the ability to speak up and honestly, lovingly, and clearly expressing yourself. Divine healing intelligence, please strengthen and improve my communication abilities. Assist me to open up to wonderful new possibilities, enhanced relationships, and greater self-confidence. Thank you. And this is funny. Observe the cloud transform into a loudspeaker in front of your throat so that everything you say can be heard by others. Now you must be willing to communicate an empowering message from your heart so that what you communicate will benefit others and yourself. And another color that you might work with is orange. All right, so orange can assist with healing digestive, adrenal, and kidney disorders. Orange rays can strengthen the spleen and the pancreas and aid in the assimilation of oxygen through the respiratory system. Orange can help restore mobility to the joints, release muscle spasms, and strengthen the lungs. Okay, so do you have an orange scarf or an orange bracelet or an orange pair of shoes or an orange t-shirt that you might wear today to help release the things that are stuck in your throat? So generational baggage stuck in the throat, dad's side, dad's mum, the men on dad's mum's side of the family. I said eat an orange. You could do that too. Some false beliefs around this too, that are generational false beliefs. So things that we think are true that are not necessarily true. So 18 generations. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go into the solar star chakra, which is located above the crown chakra. Always striving. So sometimes we can never feel satisfied in the effort that we're making, or unable to acknowledge the effort that we've put in, or acknowledge that we are doing our best and we are improving. I often say this: if you were climbing up the mountain, you would look to see it's still a long way to the top and I'm not really getting anywhere. But if you were to turn around and look back, you could say, oh, yeah, actually, I've come a little way up the mountain. I'm not at the bottom anymore. All right, so we can strengthen this solar star chakra by enjoying seasonal activities. So what might be seasonal for you now that you could enjoy doing? And also the oil console. All right, so this blend of trees and flowers was formulated to assist individuals who are in need of emotional comfort. It soothes emotional pain after periods of extreme stress or trauma. And the whole world's been through a period of extreme stress and trauma, haven't we? All right. Console assists individuals who are burdened by loss, grief, or tragedy. When past emotional surface, console can assist in releasing these emotional burdens. Okay. So when you're feeling burdened, you might use this oil to help you feel like you can release your burdens. So you can feel like you're healing. I let go of the feeling that I will miss out on experiencing something. That's FOMO, isn't it? Fear of missing out. And we can all have FOMO about different situations in life, the experiences maybe we didn't get to have with our families or at work or in our studies. But it's like we have to trust that the experiences we have that are the right experiences for us, and that we've learned wonderful things through these most difficult and stressful experiences. All right, so that seems a little bit clearer about us being willing to compromise and being able to compromise and feeling there's possibility that compromise will work. All right, anywhere else in your body that's still talking to you or telling you that the energy is stuck? Uh, so we're doing an energy works seminar the next 3 days, and so this is the opportunity to learn to understand, the things that are stuck in your body and what's behind it. And there may be many layers, so it's like addressing each layer as it comes up. And sometimes we can feel that we failed, that we have problems, but no, usually that's the way of how we overcome our problems and where the energy is stuck. All right, so things stuck in our head. So you, as in your role as a sister, the energy being stuck in that. Some stuck emotions. Again, that wanting to avoid feeling. So sometimes people can bring up feelings that we don't like, feelings that we feel are ugly or unacceptable. And we can feel that we've failed because we have these ugly feelings. But that's not the case. The ugly feelings are things that need to be released, either generationally or from our experiences in our lifetime. So I'm willing to feel my feelings. It's like, no. Age 10, 26, 30, 31, 32, 38, 39. Okay, so maybe those times in your life you had difficulty feeling your feelings and being okay with the intense feelings that you had and not knowing what to do with these feelings. And now they're still stuck somewhere in our body, mind, or energy field, so we're needing to release them. So generational baggage that's still stuck here from mum's side of the family, mum's mum, and the women, like 53 generations of women. So there's a very stuck pattern. Low self-esteem. So this deep pattern of not feeling good about ourselves and measuring ourselves on the situations that happen. And again, if we're compromising in an unhealthy way, we can throw ourselves under the bus, and we don't feel good about that, and we don't feel good that we're allowing ourselves to be abused. Again, that feeling of being taken for granted. So feeling that the other person doesn't understand, that the compromise that we're making is not good for us and it's more than we should compromise. All right, so now we're going to go into the 11th chakra, which is the galactic chakra. So this chakra is strengthened by fasting. So sometimes when we have a particular problem, and a situation where the compromise is difficult, we can, meditate on what we think the solution is, and then we can fast about it. And we can, the way that we would do a fast would be you have your evening meal and then you open your fast after that. So you say, well, Heavenly Father, this is the thing that I'm struggling with, and I think this is what, is the right answer. Can you let me know? And can you help me in this way? And so we don't eat or drink until the next meal, and just before the next meal, at the end of the following day, we will go and close our fast. And so, thank you, and check in with the feelings that we have. Do we feel confusion, which is a no, or do we feel some sort of ideas or a step to take or an impression that we need to act on? And so we can, fast and pray to help get divine assistance when the really heavy and difficult problems in our lives, and helping us to make better and healthier compromises with the situations that we're in. And the oil chia comes up, so you might use chia oil to give yourself a little healthy lift. So chia encourages individuals who are overcome by feelings of hopelessness and helplessness, which is what was coming up today. It restores hope when one has been stretched beyond the limits of endurance. This blend inspires faith that life will work out for the best despite difficulties and setbacks. Chia reminds individuals that there is so much more to life than the hardship they are experiencing, and to determinedly hold on until they regain the hope and joy they feel they've lost. So we've had a few oils that came out today that could be helpful. Sandalwood, melissa, chia, console, to help us get through the difficult things and to help us make these healthier compromises that we're choosing to make. And the old habits of unhealthy compromise will want to rise up, and we'll want to fall into those healthy habits, but we don't want to do that anymore. We want to create different compromises. And so it's like kind of sticking to your guns and pressing forward, even though it feels a little bit difficult. And sometimes we're scared to say what we might need to say to change the compromises that we're doing. Thank you for joining in on the call today. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your comments. Oh, and the other thing was the orange, wasn't it? Wear something orange or eat something orange today to help lift that energy. For those that are local, we're having a get-together on the 17th of August. And all the best to you. I have faith in you that you can make healthier compromises, and that you can change things in your life as you ask for that divine inspiration, and that you take time to connect divinely. And if you're really in dire straits, to pray and fast about your situation. Well, thank you. I hope your day is joyful, whether it's the beginning of the day or the end of the day. So thank you. Bye.